All right, we're back. Continuing down this track of mix prep, and I just got this mix in and how I'd be setting it up to get a great mix. So last time we talked about bouncing stems out. This time we're going to pick up where we left off, which is I've imported them into my new session. I've got it all color coded, and we're gonna start with like kind of how I organize this. So once I get the stems in, I verified it sounds like the rough. If it's pretty far away from the rough, I'm just going to give a call to the producer and talk through just how we're going to bounce it out to just get closer. And if I have to, just send me the session and I'll go from there. And the first thing I'm going to do is after I've get it imported and everything else like that, I'm going to immediately save as. So I'm going to save session as, and I'm just going to do a number, just one. And every time I open this, I'm going to save as and just do the next numerical number, 2, 3, 4. So this way I can always go back if something got messed up, or if I hate what I did that day or whatever, or if I'm doing something major or want to test something, I'll save as and do a different number, and this way I know. So the next thing I'll do is sometimes you just have crazy names. So it might be audio bip 1, 2 or something, and it's just like I don't know what that is, so I would retitle everything. But first, I'm gonna just copy this and then paste it in the comment section, so I always know what the producer had it named. So if he's ever referring to a sound, I can get back to it. So I'll do that to all of them, and it'll look like that. So I'll just fast forward until all this is done. All right, and once all that's done, I want to get rid of these numbers because now they're just getting in the way of me seeing things quickly. So I'll select everything, shift option. I'm going to go to batch rename. And then I can tell it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go with trimming 6 from the beginning. And then boom, got rid of all the numbers and everything is looking great. Now, of course, I produced this, so everything's titled the way I'd want it to be titled. So we'll just go from there. And the next thing I like to do is to just get everything organized like how I had it in my production session. So I'll select all these and I'll go to move to, new folder. We'll call this drums, create, and then I'll close it, color it. This is going to be move to, new folder. This will be synths. This is again, so I'm just not getting overwhelmed by my massive session here, and I can just navigate it quickly. So when I'm trying to be creative, I'm not getting frustrated. Let's call this guitars. And I always like to do this stuff a separate day than I'm actually mixing the song, because this is all just stuff that's not very creative. And all my editing and prep and all that kind of stuff, I like to do it maybe at the end of the day before, when my brain's fried from mixing, and I can just get this stuff set up for me for the next day, so when I can just sit down and start mixing and not have to worry about anything. The next thing I'll do, I'm going to open all these up. I'm going to turn on my all group here, and I'm going to select my first one because they're all grouped, and I'm just going to immediately duplicate my playlist. Now that's going to be my original playlist, so if I ever edit anything or move something around or try something, I can always get back to the original without having to open up a previous session or whatever. So I'll do that. I might not ever use it. I might not need it, but this way, again, just trying to make it easy on myself and not screw something up that irreparably that I can't ever get back to. Now, all that is in place. I've created a template, so I'm just going to load that in now. Broadcast template, I got a master template. Here's my mix template. Takes a minute to load all that. So once it does, I'm going to close this. I'm going to take it to the very top, and I am going to move everything into that. And now I can start routing things to go through this. And why have a template? I have a template, again, just so I can move quickly. Over here, you'll see all these deactivated tracks. It's not These aren't like reverbs that I'm going to stick with, but it's a good starting place. Like this way the plugin's already loaded up. In Pro Tools, you have to like route everything individually. It's not like I can just create a bus and everything's routed perfectly. So you waste so much time like, oh, I want a reverb. So let me create a bus. Let me create the routing. Let me name the routing. Let me make sure everything's communicating right. I've just done that work ahead of time. So even if it's like I want to change something, at least I know that this room verb, I can send something to room 1 and it'll be coming here. And then I can change the reverb or the EQ or whatever I want to do. But at least all the routing work is done. And generally what plugins I'm using would use for a room sound or my drum room sound, those plugins are loaded in. And they're definitely going to get touched. They're definitely going to get changed. But this way, that kind of busy work is already done. Now that I've got my template in there, I'll kind of walk through like how the signal flow. I'm kind of like a top-down-ish mixer. So I've got my mix bus, and my mix bus will be involved almost right away. And everything is coming here, and then it's going out to this unlimited bus, and then it's going to my print bus. Now both of this unlimited and this print, these are both audio tracks. And when I go to print my mix, I print this unlimited version, and the print is my limited version. So that's like a loud version that'll go to my client or the producer, because I want my mix to be as loud as the rough they sent me. And then this way, when I print them both, if the mix is approved, I can just send my unlimited to the mastering engineer, and that just has my final loudness limiter killed. So they can do that, because I'm going to trust my mastering engineer to take care of that final limiting and level to get it ready to release. So that's kind of why I do that. So both of these in Pro Tools, I got to put both of these into input mode for signal to pass. Everything's going to be running to this mix bus, processed here, and then going through here for my print. And you can see, and all of my stuff is titled, so you can see my signal flow always here. So if it says mix bus, that's going to the mix bus. Unlimited is going to here, and this is going to my print bus, and master, meaning it's coming out of my master outputs. So that would be my monitors. And so yeah, so all of my vocals need to get routed to my vocals, BGVs to BGVs. This is my FX, so any reverbs or anything else come to this FX bus. Samples and risers, that's just kind of like things that kind of don't fit into these categories. And then this is my guitars all, this is my synth all, this is my bass all, my 808, which we don't have one on this, so we'll just hide and make inactive. I've got a percussion, I got a drum, and this is another drum. I'll kind of explain why I do that in a second. This is a kick bus and a snare bus, so I will just start routing all of those things. So I'll come to this screen here. I'm going to open my drums up. I'm going to move this kick bus into where my drums are here, and I'm going to move this snare bus all the way to here. So the first thing, I'm going to take these kicks, or route them to my kick bus. And because everything is titled, I can just type it, and I'm off, moving, and grooving. So these will go to my snare bus. Now all this will go to my drums. This here, boom. All this will go to my perk. Yes, this will go to my bass. All of this will go to my synths. Especially now, because everything's color-coded, it's just super easy to just know exactly what I'm grabbing, exactly where it needs to go. Here, guitars. And now this one is a little different, because my bright yellow goes straight to my vocals all bus. Those are my lead vocals. And these will all go to my BGV. Perfect. Now we should be passing signal. Let's check it out. Perfect. We've got signal going. Now, I always put my rough mix right below this print. And why I do that is because it's really easy to, if I put my cursor here, I'm going to press Shift and P, because that now I have both of those selected. If one's muted, the other's unmuted, I can just flip between them. I actually need to do this up here so that my signal still gets to OBS. So I'm actually going to do this here. Now I can flip between these and check my rough. So that's how I can easily flip between my rough and make sure that I'm hearing both. So I also use metric AB. So this is, you know, this is a fancy plugin. If you have it, use it. So I'll go get my rough and I'll drop it in here, and this will level match it, and I'll set this to sync. It'll level match it, and then I can just, instead of having to highlight both, I can just flip between my rough and my mix right here. So I'll keep this muted, and so perfect. Now I will go through and I'll go through and I'll get my marker set. So run it back. Also the time we had, let's run it back. Haven't had the same since you heart attack. Breathing heavy, missing you when you're coming back. Can I handle that? Lost inside my own world, I don't know which way is up. Purple elephants, they roam like fairies in the dust. Up ahead, she's burning fire, whispering her love. I fell again off my desire, my head against the rug. Why do I keep on holding on when I know I'm on my own? Can't wait till I see you. Something about the way you leave me makes me feel like really like it. Can't get past memories that blind the future. I'm in last place behind the left field bleachers. Too in the past, I don't have a lot to show except I hate I liked you bad. Why do I keep on holding on when I know I'm on my own? Can't wait till I see you. Something about the way you leave me makes me feel I really need you all the time. I wanna be with you, even though you keep on leaving. Without the fear of you, but I like it, I really like it. I like the way you do. This is a great opportunity to just be listening to the rough and kind of get it in my head what's going on here. I like the way you do. Make me feel little. I like the way you do. The way you do. I need you. I like the way you do. Make me feel like you. I like the way you do. The way you do. Boom. And this is so I can just fly around my session and see what it looks like. Sometimes this gets changed. There we go. I do like seeing the colors all the way here. And then in my navigation, I know I can, you know, get to these things really easy via my number pad or command 5. All this stuff is shown right here, and it's easy to fly around my session. I can get rid of my grids, and it's prettier. And the other thing I can do is, like, I can easily hear my transitions into my chorus here. I can just go command K. So I can just set my pre-roll here to 2 bars, and then I can easily just go to my chorus and hear what my transition is sounding like into my chorus. I know, I'm on my own. It's always great to get context, and then Command K just kills that starting where I want it to start again. So that's really, really great. And then this way, you know, if I want to mute my vocals, really easy to separate things out. And then when I print stems, super easy. I can just print these or however they need them broken out. And then, yeah, I'll title. My print is obviously not going to be titled that. It's going to be titled song name. I like it. Mix 1. And then if there's ever any revisions, all I have to do is I'll just do Control, New Playlist, and I'll title this Mix 2. And we're off and running. So just organizationally, I'm set up, boom, here. And then now I'm going to save as again. And this way, I can always get back to where it was original so that I have it. I have every iteration of the mix as I go, and every revision I do is going to get a new save as. And this way, they're like, actually, we liked it better the way it was. I don't have to like remember what it was. I just go back to it. And just the organization saves you in the long run. And that's been that way through my entire career. So I can go back to a mix 10 years ago and pull up a file, and every iteration of the mix there was, or production there was. So it makes it really easy on me. Now what I'll do is I'll just jump in here, and as I'm listening to this chorus, I'll bring in some of my mix bus, some of the staple that I know I'm going to want. So, and I'm kind of listening to it, and I'm just starting to just do some broad shapes. So that's what our mix list is. I want to be subtle. I want to be broad. It's like maybe there's a build up here. Maybe I can focus where my kick drum and my low end wants to live. And so I'll kind of start getting my EQ in order there. So watch your output. I'm going to turn it up. Just doing that to get it up to level, so you don't have to turn your speakers all the way up. Here we go. So yeah, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some filtering. So I want, rolling off at 25. Again, with filtering, like, that doesn't mean nothing below 25 exists. It just means at 25, I'm starting to massage my low end and make sure I'm not overloading things down the line. So, as I'm adding some. There's general things that are typically going to be the same. I'm always going to probably do a smiley face type of thing. Add some bottom, add some top. So I'm adding, 10K here, just auditioning between 10 and 12K. I'm adding a dB and a half, and just kind of figuring out where my low end punches kind of feels the best. I kind of liked 68, so I'm just adding a dB at 68, and that's a bell, not a shelf. At that point, maybe I got a little thing I'm not liking here, so I cut a half a dB, just starting to generally give shape to where I want this thing to live. And then I like this 33609 for my compression. I love that they added this sidechain filter now, so this means I can let my low end pass through. So I'm going to kind of find where my low end is starting to trigger this thing here. So when my kick is triggering the compression, you can feel it like sucking, and I don't want that. So I'm going to move this sidechain filter up until it's reacting about the same to my kick as it is the snare and everything else. Cool. And I'm going to turn my threshold down because I don't want, especially at this point in my mix, I don't want the compression engaged. Towards the end of my mix, that's about how much I want my compression dancing. It's just like barely. So I'm going to give myself a little room here to push into it. So that's great. Super subtle. I'm going to move my recovery to here. I I have sometimes I really like this 33609. Sometimes I really like the API 2500. So I got them both living there. If I'm not loving what the 33609 is doing, I'll jump over to this 2500. I've got another EQ living here that I kind of like. I got some tape saturation living here. This is a hardware insert. I've got an SSL Fusion that I like to use just for, I'm honestly just using the width module on that. And yeah, I just like the space and width it adds, but that's for another day. I will go here and take a look at my tape saturation. I'm gonna just take my level and I'm gonna give myself some headroom here. I'm gonna give myself a lot more headroom. So I like my faders being at 0. So I'm gonna come here to my audio tracks and I'm just gonna bring these down. You know, sure, here. So I have this VU meter here because I know how I like to hit my mix bus. So, and it's just this, there's a lot of tricks with VU meters that like help me understand where my low end is and to help me make sure I'm getting consistent gain staging into my mix bus and everything else like that. So, it's why I like printing everything the way it was on the production, because I can just bring the clip gain down and gain stage, and I'm not adjusting any levels or anything else like that. All I'm doing is adjust or how their compression is hitting or anything else like that. I'm just adjusting how I'm getting into my mix bus and making sure that I have plenty of headroom to do what I want to do and add some parallel stuff, and I'm not going to be over baking my mix bus. So I just dropped that level down, some level down here, and got to where I'm hitting my mix bus a little more where I like to hit it. And I'll kind of start here with my mix bus. There's other things that I might add in here, like an inflator or some saturation, or it just kind of depends as I get going where I'm at. But I do where I'd like to start is, you know, with some tape here, maybe if I want it, or some sort of saturation here, some very, very light EQ, and my compressor's on so I can start pushing into it, but it's barely moving. Check it out here. So I know I've got some room to push into that, and I can mix into these things. And then I'll just be listening through and just attacking things that stick out to me immediately, or like I've got a little bit of buildup going on in this kick drum here that I don't particularly love. So I'm going to load this up and I'm going to start finding that. And then I'm just going through and I'm just going to start making small moves, focusing on things that stick out to me like that. And I know that my mix is getting closer as like when I start listening through, I'm not reaching for anything. I'm not wanting to fix anything, and I'm getting through to the end and I'm just like, well, nothing jumped out on me, because I don't want to be focusing on fixing everything. I just want to focus on the song is already cool. how can I make it cooler? What's working? How can I try to maybe make it hit a little harder, or the transitions maybe be a little more exciting? And I'm just looking for little wins like that. And I'm not I'm not trying to listen through and just be like focus on the vocal and fix every little tiny thing that's wrong with the vocal. The producers spent so much time on it, and it's to a place that they love it. So what I'm trying to focus on a broad picture here, and then fix the problems that jump out on me, and go from there. But that's typically where I'm starting my mix, and we'll kind of jump into maybe looking at these drums next, and see where this mix takes us for a stream. And thanks for checking it out.